Welcome back to Badwick Drama News. I'm your host, Badwick, and I'm here making the news simple just like you. So for today's episode, we have 3 news stories for you today, but before we get into those, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date to new videos, and comment down below what you think about the stories we are talking about and your overall thoughts on the show. I read all the comments, I do my best to comment back. So, what are we talking about today, guys? Well, we have 3 stories, and they are about Austin Mcbroom, an update on his life after the announcement of the divorce. Then we have an update on Natalie Reynolds, because maybe there were some repercussions to all these IRL hunting videos she's been doing. And finally, we have an update on the lolcow podcast, because it seems like everything is on fire over there. Now, let's just get into the show. So for our first story of the day, we're going to be talking about Austin Mcbroom. Now, we all know who Austin Mcbroom is. We talked about him on the show before and how he is going through a divorce. Now, the other night, he posted his live-in situation where Austin has announced that he will be living in an RV. Here's the clip.
A little update regarding my living situation. Unfortunately, I was unable to move into the home that I really wanted, and you guys know how much that meant to me because I get to be as close as I can be to my kids. But I did figure out another solution that is just temporary, but it's as best as I can do for now, and I'm happy with it. And as long as they're happy and I'm happy, that's all that matters. So this is what I did. I was able to get this new motorhome, and so I'll be living here temporary, and they're right here.
So as you can see from the clip, Austin shows off his RV. He explains why he's living in the RV, which is to be close to his kids, and that his ex-wife is very civil about the matter. They get along, they can agree on a lot of things, but it still entitles him to his own space and her to her own space. And overall, I think there's nothing wrong with this. I think Austin's trying to be a good dad, be close to his family, but also respect the feelings of his ex-wife. A lot of people, however, are chirping him for this on Twitter, making fun of him, saying things like how the mighty has fallen, and that sort of stuff. I personally think Austin's being a good father and doing his best in this situation. Even though both parties are okay with the divorce is still shitty to go through. There's a lot of legal issues, you have to worry about your kids, and all that. So I think Austin is doing the best. It's just, I get the irony where a lot of people are like, well, Austin used to shit talk people in the past for how much money they have and that sort of thing, and now he's living in an RV. So I can get the criticism behind it, but I don't think this is really that bad. I mean, people chirping Austin are just chirping him to chirp him at this point, I think. But let me know what you guys think about Austin living in an RV, if you think it's the funniest thing you've heard of, if you think it's a nothing burger. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Now let's move on to the next story. For our next story of the night, we're going to be talking about Natalie Reynolds. Now, I've talked about Natalie Reynolds a lot on this show so far, and I covered her yesterday about her most recent drama, per se. So, Natalie Reynolds decided to do IRL hunting streams, which has had very mixed reception. A lot of people are claiming that this is animal abuse, what she's doing, this is sick and wrong, while other people are like, no, this is normal, this is how people get their food, this is how life is. Well, we have an update on that, because Natalie Reynolds did another IRL hunting stream, and here's the clip.
Get it? You got it. This video caught me! Let's go! I shot her right in the head, first one! Oh my god! I got him right in the head! Holy shit! It's go. I got it! First shot! Let's go!
So as you can see from that clip, Natalie Reynolds shoots that alligator point blank in the head and then continues on with, I'm Natalie Reynolds, I shot the alligator, one shot, I shot her in the head because I'm Natalie Reynolds, no scope trick shot, Natalie Reynolds gamer girl. Anyways, I got that out of my system because the amount of times I've had to reshoot this scene and also watch that video has been way too many times. So, as you can see, Natalie Reynolds makes that stream. She shoots the alligator, and then she's hit with a 3-day ban on Kick. Now, a lot of people are torn between this because some people are saying that the ban is justified, that she actually deserves more than 3 days due to animal cruelty and abuse, while others are upset saying that she didn't do anything wrong. She is simply hunted, dealing with a pest, which alligators are sometimes considered pests. Now, my thoughts on this are that I think Kick is doing this to set a tone. They don't want to encourage this type of streams, because if Natalie Reynolds gets away with it and she gets a lot of clout from these hunting streams, there are going to be copycat streamers, and I bet Kick is worried about that. I bet they want to discourage streamers from doing these sort of hunting streams. That's my thought on it, but I'm curious on what you guys think. Do you guys think that's why they're doing it, or do you think like they did it just to save face, or do you guys actually just disagree with the ban entirely? Let me know down in the comments, and let's move on to the next story. So for our final story of the night, we're going to be talking about the lolcow podcast and how it's a dumpster fire right now because Tommy C doesn't get back to anybody, Boogie is MIA, and Wings of Redemption has supposedly quit the show. Now this is all happening because of the last episode they did with Ethan Ralph, where Ethan Ralph basically berated Boogie and Wings for the entire episode, calling Wings a pedophile because of jokes in the past. Now if you don't know what the lolcow podcast is, it is a podcast ran by Keemstar, hosted by Tommy C, with Wings of Redemption and Boogie. And basically the podcast is Wings and Boogie talking about various situations with Tommy moderating per se. So yeah, a lot of people enjoy it. The episodes have been pretty good. They pull in a lot of guests. They even had Harley from Epic Mealtime come on. And it's overall an enjoyable, entertaining show. But it might be done because of Wings of Redemption, where he made this video claiming why he is done with the show. Let's show the clip.
The recent developments? All right, I'm going to do it right now. I quit the lolcow podcast because I had concerns that weren't being met. When I started lolcow podcast, I didn't want like trolling to start back up and get into my life. And Keem has this policy that all comments are good comments regardless of what they say. And every time I reached out to Keem, he would just blow it off. Like he goes and like disregard my concerns. And it got to the point where like it was affecting my mental health and, you know, other things in my life. And I basically asked, I basically put an ultimatum out there where it's like, you either start doing this or I'm going to step out. And then it got ignored for probably a day and a half.
So as you can see from Wayne's clip, he goes on about how the show's not what he was told it was going to be, how he's tired of the comments, especially I assume the Ethan Ralph ones made against him about him being a pedo, how the trolling has got worse, and then he goes on about how he hasn't been compensated financially for his time on the show as well. So Wayne's is upset. And now I can only assume Boogie is going through the same thing Wings is, because let's be honest, he probably is. If Wings isn't paid, Boogie probably hasn't got paid. But Keemstar hasn't made an official announcement or response to this yet, so we have to wait and see what Keem says. There is supposed to be an episode of the lolcow podcast that comes out today, so hopefully we'll hear about it. Maybe it's all just a big bait situation where none of this is real, but we won't know until the episode comes out. I don't know if the podcast can continue without Boogie and Waynes, because I know Keemstar tweeted out how Waynes was angry about those comments, and then Waynes in his video said Keem thinks all comments are good comments, and let's be honest, I can kind of agree with Waynes. I don't think being called a pedophile is a good comment on a show. Waynes doesn't have the best takes all the time, but I can understand his point with that comment. But then Keem tweeted out how he's looking for new people for the show and how he's had 8 creators reach out to him already about being on the show. So who knows what's happening with the lolcow podcast? It had a rough start. It seemed like the middle of it was going relatively okay. And now it's just on fire. So I want to know what you guys think about the lolcow podcast. Do you think it's over? Do you think this is all just a dramatic drama fabricated for the show? Or do you think Wings is actually probably done? I want to know what you guys think. Do you think he'll survive if they have new co-hosts on there? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I read them all and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Like that like button if you want to see more. Subscribe to help the channel out, and I will see you on the next video, guys. Peace!